into deep left center for Mitchell, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Those words were spoken by Jack Buck, famous baseball announcer, on October 26th, 1991. Right after Kirby Puckett had hit a home run, game-ending, in Game 6 of the World Series to force a Game 7. I was in high school in 1991, and I was intently watching my hometown Minnesota Twins play on the grandest stage in baseball, the World Series. Today I'm going to talk about how the Twins got to the World Series, about Kirby Puckett's awesome Game 6, and how the Twins won the World Series in Game 7. So how did the Twins get to the World Series? Well, the year before, they finished last in their division. Terrible season. So during the offseason, they made some acquisitions. So they got power hitting with Chili Davis. They got a veteran pitcher with Jack Morris. And then they signed Rookie of the Year, Chuck Knobloch. So with this combination, by June, the Twins had started a 15-game winning streak that propelled them into first place. And that they would not leave first place for the whole rest of the year. Matter of fact, at the end of the year, according to Major League Baseball, the Twins ended the season with 95 wins. That's a lot better than the 74 wins they did a year before. So now that I talked to you about how the Twins got to the World Series, we need to focus on Kirby Puckett's awesome Game 6. So, in the World Series, it's the first team to win 4 games is the winner. So they can play as few as 4 and as many as 7. So the first 2 games are in Minnesota, the Twins win them. The next 3 games are in Atlanta, the Braves win them. So Game 6 comes back to Minnesota, the Twins need to win. It's a must-win situation. So in the locker room before the game, Kirby Puckett says to his teammates, "Why don't you guys jump on my back and I'll carry you?" And that's exactly what he did. In his first at-bat, he hit a triple and ended up scoring the first run of the game. And then in the 3rd inning, when the Braves had a runner on first base, their power hitter, Ron Gant, hits a fly ball that looks like it's possibly going out of the park. Puckett runs, jumps a phenomenal leap, catches the ball against the plexiglass wall, comes down, and saved for sure at least 1 run from being scored that inning. So, now after 9 innings, game is tied. So that means they go into extra innings. And the Twins get their 3 outs, and then Kirby Puckett comes up to bat in the 11th inning. So, and Kirby, he's even quoted as saying that he's usually a free swinger. He just gets up there and forgets. Now that's according to Alex Coffey, who writes for the Baseball Hall of Fame. So you're expecting Kirby to just swing away. Well, uncharacteristically, he's so patient, he watches 3 pitches go by before he finally gets that perfect pitch, and he sends it over the wall, forcing a Game 7 and inspiring that wonderful quote by Jack Buck that I said at the beginning of my speech. So now that we talked about Kirby Puckett's awesome Game 6, let's talk about how the Twins were able to win in Game 7. So, Game 7, again in Minnesota, winner take all, ends up being a real pitcher's duel. So they played 9 innings, neither team is able to score. So they got to go into extra innings. So the 10th inning, even though that the Braves had taken out their starting pitcher in the 8th inning, we still had Jack Morris, our ace, on the hill. He pitched the 9th and would not be benched. He had to pitch the 10th inning. And sure enough, he pitched the 10th inning, got all 3 outs, and that put the Twins up to bat. So, the Twins get a hit. They get a double from Dan Gladden, and then Chuck Knobloch sacrifices him over to third. Then they have their power hitters, Kent Hrbek, Kirby Puckett. The Braves walk them both to load the bases. Up comes Gene Larkin. First pitch, kaboom, over the outfielders' heads, hits the grass. The Twins win on a walk-off single, win the World Series. So now that I shared with you how the Twins got to the World Series, about Kirby Puckett's awesome Game 6, and then how the Twins won in Game 7, the Twins had done such a great job at winning, it even inspired baseball's commissioner, Fay Vincent, to state after the game, quote, It was, I think, probably the greatest World Series ever. So, the 1991 World Series gave baseball fans, in Minnesota especially, an unforgettable tomorrow night.